the Wall Street Journal in particular, their editorial, actually talked about this provision of alternative detention. And in their editorial said the migrants will be caught, they will be given ankle bracelets and released. And then the very next sentence was, this ends catch and release. And I was just, did you not read these two sentences? The sentence before specifically says the migrants will be caught and then released, and the next sentence denies what the previous sentence just said. I was flabbergasted.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with commentary editor Conn Carroll. Conn, the border bill is dead, just like you predicted that it would be. It received quite a lot of criticism from Republican lawmakers, Republican commentators. How bad was it?
It was worse than I expected.
Wow. And you had low expectations.
And I had low expectations. The big mystery was, how are they going to close this border? Mm-hmm. What mechanism are they going to use to magically say, everyone that's coming in, we're not going to let you anymore? And so it turned out the answer was they were basically going to keep letting everyone in, but put them in what's called Immigration and Customs Enforcement Alternative to Detention Program. And so what that means is, in addition to getting a piece of paper that says you have to show up at this court at this time, they were going to get an ankle bracelet or like a cell phone that they don't have to check in every day. Mm-hmm. And that was their solution, to continue catch and release, except to just give people ankle bracelets and cell phones and call it a day. Now, of course, this was not going to work in any way whatsoever. Mm-hmm. The Alternative Detention Program is famously flawed. ICE doesn't even particularly run it. They actually have subcontractors that they farm it out to. And GEO has done multiple studies that say ICE just has a terrible job overseeing these contractors. And of course, mm-hmm. the rates that these people actually finish their terms are the terms of their agreement through alternative detention doesn't work. So it was worse than I thought, but it did die a quick death, which I think it deserved.
But there's been a lot of spin from some, definitely on the left, but even some on the right, like you noted before we started recording, the Wall Street Journal trying to describe this as a very restrictive bill. What do you make of those counterclaims?
It's one of those things where I just think they're either ignorant or disingenuous. The Wall Street Journal in particular, their editorial, actually talked about this provision of alternative detention. And, in their editorial said the migrants will be caught, they will be given ankle bracelets and released. And then the very next sentence was, this ends catch and release. And I was just, did you not read these two sentences? The sentence before specifically says the migrants will be caught and then released, and the next sentence denies what the previous sentence just said. I was flabbergasted.
So now, President Joe Biden is trying to, it's hard to say with a straight face, paint Donald Trump as the open borders candidate in this race because Donald Trump opposed the bill. Now, Donald Trump did apparently make some statements on social media about how Republicans should not help Joe Biden alleviate his problems on the border, which is sort of where this is coming from. Is this going to be a credible message from Joe Biden?
Is it going to be credible? So answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
Look, did Donald Trump saying before the bill even came out that we need to kill this bill? No, that didn't help politically at all. But on the other hand, voters' belief about Biden and the border is already baked in. Mm-hmm. At 18% approval rating, he is the lowest approval rating on immigration on any president ever. And it's well deserved. Mm-hmm. On his first day in office, he signed countless executive orders on immigration, the highest of any president ever, including undoing President Trump's Remain in Mexico program, including a 100-day border moratorium, and including creating a Title 42 loophole for unaccompanied minors. He then went on to do far more, but just the enormity of things that he'd done to weaken border security, to 3 years later, after claiming for 3 years that there was no crisis, then all of a sudden, one Sunday in January, a coin flips and he says, there is a crisis, and it was created by the Republicans by not passing this bill now, even though the crisis has existed for 3 years in a row.
Well, Conn, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely.
You can get more writing from Conn and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.